Hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name, of course, is Stephen Compian, and I am joined here by my powerful co-host, the man who went to a live game to get data for the podcast. That's how much he cares about you people. That's right, Corey Compian, reporter from the sideline, here on Sports by Compian. How are you, sir?
Doing fantastic. We went and we did the live analysis of who we think are the guys. And we
Right.
kind of were paying attention
We
for
were.
most
We
of
were
it.
there. Yeah, we were paying attention. We were out there. We were watching the biggest upset. But we'll get to that, Corey. Today, we will be discussing MLR round 10 now, 9, 10. One of the two. Corey, we'll be discussing that round. And we'll also be talking UFL week 4. So exciting stuff. We're going to start off with some MLR coverage. Your favorite team, well, Sports by Compian's favorite team. So therefore, your favorite team, people. The Chicago Hounds fall to the Seattle Seawolves, Corey. Sad times for the Hounds.
Kept it close, though.
Couple notes on this game. So, first of all, shout out to the Seawolves. Man, they've been having a rough season. They've kind of been having a hard time getting anything going, been falling to some good teams out in the West. They came into this week and needed a win. And at home, they made it happen, Their number 9, Mr. JP Smith himself, got his 100th cap. And now that's significant because not only is he the second player ever in MLR to get 100 caps, shout out Mr. Dan Foster himself. I think he was injured too. Jeez. Fawcett was also is the first MLR player ever to get 100 caps. Mr. JP Smith for the Seattle Seawolves, or number 9, is the second. But Corey, he is the only one to do it all with one club. Mr. Fawcett bounced around a little bit before he found his home here in Chicago. So that's what's pretty cool for JP. Shout out, man. Way to stick with one team. He's been a champion with this team. He's been to many conference finals. It's pretty cool. And it was a significant win for them. They really played their hearts out. On the Chicago side, I think we dealt with several injuries, it appears, Corey. There was some sketchy stuff going on. So first of all, your boy Fawcett's not even in the starting lineup here in the props. Instead, who was it? It might be number 1 over here, who got his first start. A rookie guy. You'll see our boy Luke White, who we talked piles of shit about last week, deservedly so. Gets a start at blindside flanker. And so absent 2 very notable players. And then, of course, Matthew Okunabao. Sorry, bro. I can't. I'm sorry. Oruro. That's a much better pronunciation, or at least probably closer than I was.
I don't know.
He's a Canadian lad.
Matthew.
He got to our boy Matt got his first start for the Hounds. A Canadian
boy lad.
So 2 huge things. So McLean Jones, not on the roster, not here, not listed as a sub. And I'm like, was he injured? No news about this on the Chicago Hounds website. You can't Google if this man was injured, Corey. You can't go to ESPN to ask them. I mean, you guys are covering this on your Plus. They don't care enough to even have an MLR section. So
you gotta just be the guy, Steve. You gotta follow.
We gotta start releasing sports articles about MLR. Apparently, nobody is covering this.
Just start following these dudes on Instagram, and when they post I fucking stubbed my toe, be like, dude, fucking stubbed his toe. He's not playing in the game.
Apparently, but McLean was out for this one. Our other boy, the other Canadian, he was in here, right? Liam Fletcher, I think that's him. So Liam Fletcher, for some reason, didn't start this game. They said wanted to go to Luke White. I don't know, man. Luke just looks slow out there. Plus, I don't like the guy. So, maybe I'm not a very good person to comment on these things, Corey. But, dude, they couldn't move the ball. They just could not move the ball. Seattle gets a couple big interceptions. And overall, just played great defense. They were able to just kind of hold the what's it called? The Hounds have possession for 63% of the game, but they just could not convert. They get a couple late tries to bring it closer. Long-term captain over there for Seattle Seawolves, Hattie gets himself a try. Overall, they just controlled the game, played fantastic defense. The Hounds could not break that game line, at least not frequently. And the Hounds just got piles and piles of cards. They got, as they tend to do when they lose, is they got like a yellow in the early going. Then their number 10 tackles like head to head or damage to the head at least, gets himself a red. Shout out the rule where you only get 20 minutes on a red now because they were able to get a guy back later. But dude, at one point they have a yellow and a red. And it's just like, we're playing 13 on 15, guys. What are we doing here? Seattle finally helped them out and got like a yellow later on in the game. But yeah, the Hounds were acting crazy out there with these cards, and I think it cost them.
That's surprisingly close for playing down 2 guys and having like 2 of your starters injured. Like they kind of did what they had to do for having such limited support.
And on the road, so it's definitely
that's not a bad showing at all.
No, they showed some heart for sure. You wonder about like why do they got to keep on getting so many cards? Why do they got to do this? And also, where was McLean? Where was Fawcett? I just feel like they should tell.
Team. They're just like, we got a wedding, bro. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Like, tell us what is happening, dude. You guys are supposed to be professionals. You guys are supposed to be professionals covering this. Like, whatever, man. Either way, Hounds drop a game. Seawolves get a much, much needed win if they're going to be able to have any chance of the playoffs, which I don't know if they do at this point. Let's see. Let's have a look at that, Corey. Right now, live, we will be the ones to break if they do, because no one else cares enough. No, I don't think they can, Corey. They only have 3 wins. But then again, they're only like 2 games behind the Legion now, who have now dropped 4 in a row, Corey. It is a full-on slide since starting 5-0. They are now 4-game losing streak.
Did they just start against like the soft teams, so now they're playing the real teams? Or
what's going on here? They beat some good teams. I don't know what's going on, man. So it's probably all the bad.
Or they just didn't really have too much of a strategy. They were doing well whenever it was just athleticism, but then once the season gets going and strategy starts getting involved, they fell behind a bit.
I don't know. They're a very veteran team, and they've been to a lot of finals, been to a lot of conference finals. Who knows? Either way, Utah's on the rise right now with their now 6th
injuries
win.
Too. Maybe some of their main dudes got hurt.
Could be, yeah.
I like how this is all just theorizing and we have no way of checking.
I have no way. We could not research it if we wanted to, dude. Nobody has done any kind of analysis.
There's no way of knowing. We'll just
maybe YouTube has some videos out there breaking down what the hell is going on with the Legion, but they have dropped 4 games in a row. The Free Jackets are just right back in it. The Free Jackets are like, just kidding. Slow start was just for funsies. We're back. They've now won, a lot in a row. So they're right back in the driver's seat. Anthem still can't find a win. Love you, Anthem. Goddamn.
We believe in you, Anthem. Someday you'll get that win.
But speaking of teams that didn't have a win until this previous week, the San Antonio Brahmas. That's right. We're switching over to UFL coverage. The San Antonio Brahmas. They get their first win on the road in DC land, in the nation's capital, with the White House, some miles away.
No, actually, we saw it. It was a couple blocks away.
Yeah. So a couple blocks away. They get this done in Aldi Field. Lovely venue, super expensive, I feel like, for no reason. Like, why is everything this expensive? It's something that the House do too, but like I felt you guys are even more expensive than the House. Maybe not. But either way, it's just like, dude, these like lower tier leagues, like, can we just have like cheaper concessions, please? Like, goddamn. But then again, why would they do that? If you're renting out the stadium, that's what you have to pay, I guess.
There's so few people that they kind of have to like make enough to justify having all the people there. Like there was so many of those dudes walking around trying to sell beer and water, and I felt like there was like one of them for every person there. Like we could all have our personal beer guy.
Sort of. But it actually was a decent turnout, compared to like Hounds stadiums, Hounds games where they don't even open the full stadium because they know they're not going to fill it. Like they had defenders scattered throughout the stadium, especially on the one side where the defenders bench was. There was a decent amount of people back there. It was kind of almost full. We were off in a side section, which was kind of cool. We had a higher view of the stadium. Mr. Dan Gill, Mr. Shades himself, secured the tickets for this game and watched his defenders fall to the Brahmas. I may or may not have called this all weekend long, Corey.
Steven was preaching this gospel, and we all thought that he was just doing the thing that he does where he likes to root for losers, and we were like, why would he do this to himself? But then when the Brahmas started off 12-0, I was like, oh, maybe Steven actually has a crystal ball. Maybe he just knows things. Or maybe he just says stuff and stands by it really firmly.
And this will
like,
hit.
Sometimes that thing is right.
Yes, it's gonna hit, dude. You know, it's about to hit 25% of the time, all the time.
Right. That
Anyways,
the field was awesome though. This was one of the not the first time I've been to like a live sporting event like that, but it was one of the few times I've been to a live sporting event like that. And I gotta say, to the fans around were just great. I asked some dudes why they had lemon hats. Apparently, there's a thing where the DC Defenders were throwing lemons on the field, but then that got banned. Some of these fans are really hardcore about it. We saw a dude in like a full lemon cape and like shoulder pads. People were committed to this DC business going on over here.
they need to have like some kind of tailgating to like further build the culture because like I mean there's a bar that I guess is pretty well known for the one we ended up at. A lot of Defender fans in there. Shout out, they do know how to do it well. Even the Brahmas traveled well. The Brahma fans like they were scattered, but you know there was a couple of them scattered. One dude sitting right in our row had a Cowboys hat. It was getting rowdy for the Brahmas.
I sat next to him and he was like, "Oh, so are you a DC Defenders fan?" I'm like, kinda. You know, we're here. And I was like, "Are you?" He's like, "Oh no, I was a fan of the Guardians, but then they moved." And I was like, "Oh, dude, same." I was like Guardians and Generals, and they folded and moved. So now I'm, I guess Battlehawks, and since I'm here, we're DC Defenders. He's like, "Oh, that's fair. My brother was Brahmas, so now I'm Brahmas," and I'm like, commitment to show up with like the cowboy hat and the full jersey and stuff if you're like not even that committed to this team.
Dude, those jerseys are like $100 and something. Like they don't just sell them cheap just because they're like UFL jerseys, which I don't get. The MLR does the same thing. They're like full kit, $110. It's like, Jesus, guys, you're a minor league. Can we get some cheaper jerseys? What the fuck?
I saw like only number 1 jerseys everywhere for the DC Defenders, and I was like, is that just the baseline model? And then I found out it was like, no, it's their one linebacker is number 1. And I will say he was on like he made the opening tackle on
corner. He's their corner, but yeah, agreed. He was
he a nickel?
He's a nickel, I think. Yeah.
Okay, because he was involved with like everything, and I was like, damn, he's involved with all these tackles. But then I was realizing he's making these like 7-yard tackles. So is he fucking up? He's allowing these catches and then he's cleaning it up, or is he just the nearest guy to the ball and it just it looks like it's on him when he makes a tackle when really someone else should have been there?
Who knows? But what I would say is that your boy was hype. Like to start the game before the kickoff, he's like talking shit to the Brahmas guys. They're like ignoring him, and I'm like, oh, look at this guy talking shit. And then he rolls down there and makes the tackle. I'm like, okay, he's fired up, and he was all fired up throughout the game. I think he did have one big play, and he got further fired up. But then like he dwindled, like the defenders' fire. It was sad, dude. They couldn't stop these Brahmas. Like even on the drives where the Brahmas didn't score, they were moving the ball well. And I did call this. I said Mr. Kellen Mohan was going to have a day, and he didn't have a day, Corey, but he did enough. You know, like
14 on 20, 70%. That's not bad. Like he
not bad.
Moving the ball, dude. Like that. The running back was also putting up some good stuff. He had a couple breakaway runs.
Yeah, McFarland had a decent day too, and he catches the ball well out of the backfield. McFarland, like he caught like 3 for 14. None of these receivers like had crazy days, but there was a couple, like you said, like this guy Jacob Harris caught one for fucking 30. His other 2 were for 5. But that's not the point, Corey. The point is that there was a couple long passes, and most of these 14 completions were almost always chain movers. Like you hit a guy on third down.
Yeah, definitely. No, they're doing some stuff. And if you go down to the receivers, the dude Cornell Powell, that was Manny's dude. Like we'd see a catch, and Manny's like, "Watch, it's gonna be Powell." Turns out it was Powell. Like our man was just out there doing stuff.
Oh yeah, Cornell Powell was having himself a decent day as well. But the guy who really had a decent day was Chris Rowland. When I saw Mr. Chris Rowland pull up on the screen of like introducing it's kind of funny that they only introduced the starting offensive line. Offense. Like fuck the defense. These are the guys on offense.
They had like their one lineman who used to play in the NFL, like 2 of the receivers, the running back and the quarterback. Everyone else, they're like, just jog out there, boys.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they didn't have T.Y. Scott, who didn't have a catch in this game, but he had like a big burner last week. But anyway, Chris Rowland, this dude looks like he's 40 in his his street shot thing, but he plays well. A lot of his catches once again were first downs. Who was it? Balin Sanders. Dude, this catch, he came back to it to get that long 42-yarder. So Tao had a decent day. but he was not moving the chains very well. Like they had a 3-and-out right away, and early they were struggling to get it going. Just kept on kicking the ball back to the Brahmas. And
I think they were so far behind that they had to throw a lot. Like he had 31 attempts. I think that's high for this league.
Yeah, and he was running it the whole time. Like
he ran 10 times. That's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like Abrams, I don't know if it's Abram or the offensive line, but the run game is letting down Talbot right now. Like, he's doing decent, but they can't get anything going on the run. Like, Smith had one big run. Other than that, he was mostly contained. It was like short gains to losses. The problem is defense. They really showed up to play, man. They really gave their team a chance to win this. 9 tackles for loss and a sack. Pretty good stuff. Defenders' defense was kind of keeping them in there. Like they had 6 sacks on your boy Bond. It's so crazy how often 6 sack games happen in the UFL, dude. Like these poor quarterbacks are getting
Wait, but are those 6 tackles for loss or 6 sacks?
No, those are 6 sacks. Oh no,
loss. No.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Are there any sacks? No, 0 sacks.
0 sacks for them, just a bunch of tackles for loss. So yeah, they couldn't get to Mon. He was getting rid of it very quickly. To be fair.
Let's see if we can find this dude number 1. There he is at the top, Bryce Thompson.
Yeah, Mr. Bryce Thompson. You're right. He was everywhere. He led the team in tackles.
Stuff. He had 2 for. I think he had a tackle for loss like right early on that first drive. That might be the other play you're talking about that got him all fired up. But it doesn't say what position he plays, does it? Because he looked like a linebacker. Like based off his positioning on the field, he was either.
Will this get crazy if we try to look him up right now? Bryce Thompson. He played for the Seawolves before.
Cornerback. So you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cornerback.
We'll return to the Brahmas in 2025.
He was our highest ranked guy from according to PFL last year.
He doesn't seem like a dude. He was out there doing stuff. And you also love to see like your star defensive player is also like, let me in on kickoff. I want that contact early.
Yeah, for sure. Malik Fisher appears to be like their leader. He gave a nice little like pregame speech trying to get the crowd fired up. Didn't have much of a game, but he was out there. But yeah, the defenders fall. The Brahmas get their first win of the season. Big times all around. Defenders first loss. Brahmas first win. Huge, Corey. Huge. Everyone is lost in this league now at this point.
I just gotta say, it's such a bummer that there isn't like a New Jersey team, because this would be such a fun Sunday activity. Just go and like get to know all the guys, and like the tickets were like what, like $20, $25. Like if you have one of these teams playing in your city, definitely go see it, because it's just such a great time. Even if you don't,
it is a super fun time.
It is good football, dude. Like there was, a fairly high scoring game. There was, breakout plays on both sides. It was a lot of fun to watch. Just pregame, so you don't have to buy the expensive beers there.
Pregame, and I would suggest the lemonade vodka, because it's almost the same price as a beer. I think like $2, maybe more expensive. But you actually get like a delicious beverage that will last you a while too.
It's true.
It's true. So that's what I recommend for the people, for the masses.
Anyway,
that's the situation at hand with that game, Corey. We're going to move on to a game we didn't watch in person, but that we also followed, sort of. St. Louis Battlehawks have dropped another one, Corey. It's bad. We're now at 2-2. It was 2-0. It was a good time. All the boys were talking about it. We were talking about where we're going to go party when we get to the Super Bowl. It's gone. It's gone, man.
Tragic.
And I think it's going to get worse because our boy Wilkins went down. Went down bad, dude. Manny Wilkins himself. It looked bad. He catches the snap. He like sees a gap. He's gonna take off running, and one of his legs. He's just like, nah, bro. I'm all set. And the sad part about it was a very, very start of the game. Like I think maybe the first drive.
Well, yeah, he had 2 passing attempts, and this is probably his first rush. So he played three downs.
And dude, like when he like doesn't even make it to the ground before he fumbles it. Like the St. Louis team just stands around like hey, play football to the whistle, because the Renegades did. They picked it up and took it back to the end zone. And that's a tough way to start. You lose your starting quarterback, and they run back a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Tough times. And in comes Max Dunigan, Heisman runner-up. Went to the national championship and got smoked by Georgia. But either way, he did take his Hornet Frogs there, Corey. I guess the moment was too big for him here in the UFL.
Is this the dude that that got drafted to the Rams. He was like 1,000,000 years old, and he was
No,
supposed to.
I'm thinking of Stetson Bennett with Georgia Bulldogs. This is
Fair
Max
enough.
Dunnigan. He has cool hair.
I love a guy with cool hair.
Not the best day at the office for him. 2 interceptions, only 78 yards. Most of those passes were like the completions he had were most of the first downs. And dude, shout out Rigobero Blankenship. The man's killing it. He hit a 55-yarder. I think he hit a 53-yarder. He's the stud. He's the MVP of the Battlehawks.
I remember him kicking ass last year. I thought he was in the NFL by now.
Who knows? But either way, he used to be with the Colts. I don't know if you remember back in the day. But anyway, he is now with the Battlehawks and just killing it, having himself a good time. But basically, Luis Perez did just enough in this game. Like he was getting sacked so much. How many did the Battlehawks get him? They only actually got him twice.
6.
No, so that was the Renegades. They were all over our boy Max, dude. It was a really tough day at the office. Max could not. He was holding the ball a little long sometimes, but also just a lot of times he was just not getting any time to throw it and was just getting destroyed. So that was a little sad for him for sure. And yeah, they had 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. They could just not get anything going on offense. And the battle, it was like basically it was a heavyweight battle between these two defenses. Like the Battlehawks scored a touchdown. I think they picked up a fumble and also took it back. So they evened out the whole defensive touchdowns from both sides. Like they were scoring more than the offense was.
So like, I think it was. We got this. Don't worry about it.
I could be wrong, but one of the commentators said it. He was like, "This is the most sacks in UFL history in this game with 8."
Damn.
So yeah, it was a slugfest. But Luis does just enough. He did have a deep pass for a touchdown that was taken back. I guess pass interference or something. Who knows? They kept on leaving them chances to stay in this. And it was not a fumble they returned. It was an interception from your boy Perez. But 68% completion, veteran guy, did way more than Dunnigan did. And so that's how he pulled out the win for his Renegades. That's kind of what you want back there. He's probably just going to stay here in the UFL for the next 4 to 5 years and just earn himself out a nice little living as a UFL quarterback. Not too bad. I think someone told me that Dad, Mr. Shades himself, was saying that their collective bargaining agreement, it says it's $65,000 minimum, I want to say, in the UFL. So like he's as a quarterback, he's probably at 100.
Yeah, no, that's a great living for like you got to stay in shape, but that's like a couple months of work.
Yeah. So and good for Luis.
Getting paid to do something that we've all paid to do in the past. So
precisely, not all of us, but yes, a lot of us. Well, he didn't have much of a red game to rely on. Your boy Hunter could not get it going on the ground. So great defense on both sides, but ultimately the Renegades pulled it off. Jacob Saylor is a little quiet on the day. 20 carries for only 61 yards. He almost did chase back the fumble recovery. He's like one of the only people who responded to get back there. I think Dunnigan may have threw to pick 6 too. Did he? Did they say it over here? No, they only had one. Whatever. Point is, Corey, not good stuff. And it's kind of bleak right now. If you're a Battlehawks fan, it's bleak, dude. It's bleak.
Bummer of a game. No quarterback on a 2-game slide.
On a 2-game slide, Dunnigan seems to suck. Wilkins is out. It's not good times over here in St. Louis. And they're hosting the championship this year, so it would have been cool if they could make it.
Yeah. That's a bummer. Also, yeah, hopefully we can get above a 20 QBR next game there, Max.
Well, let's hope for the best. It can only go up from there. No, it could definitely go down. But let's hope not. Let's hope that they'll pull him and put in the 3rd string before he goes below 20.
Who knows? Berg's the guy.
Corey, we brought you some coverage about the UFL. We brought you some coverage about the MLR and the Chicago Hounds also. It was just a lot of losing for all the teams that we kind of like. The Defenders fell, Hounds lost, Battlehawks lost. Tough times out there. But stay true, fans. Stay loyal. And maybe your team may or may not win one day, but you'll feel even better when they do because you stuck with them the whole time.
It's true.
Corey, any fine parting words for these people of Sports By Compian?
Don't buy gift cards. It's a scam. I found a gift card on the floor as I was walking Mr. Badger's last night, and I walked past it. I'm like, I'm not picking that up. It's probably nothing on there. And then on the way back, I was like, it's still here. I should pick it up. So I picked it up. I checked how much was on it, and it was $2.18. Not enough to actually buy anything. So I tried to redeem it as a Amazon gift card, but you can only $5 is the minimum. Therefore, that card just gonna expire with those $2, and then that's how they get you, man. They're making $2 off a $25 gift card. That's 10% that they're just pocketing. It's a scam and avoid gift cards.
Yeah, but they probably like had more on there and used it, and that was like the last little bit, and they just threw it out and didn't really care.
But that's what I mean. That last little bit is just money that you're giving to the gift card people just for funsies.
Oh my God! Buy Precise Orders if you have a gift card. Precise Orders, people. By Compian. We're at it.